On this, let's cross over to political analyst Ross Feingold. He joins us now from Taipei. Ross, good to have you on the show. Now, the president sent out a tweet late on Monday evening. Without warning, he wrote, "In light of the attack from the invisible enemy," and then he goes on to say that I will be signing an executive order to temporarily suspend all immigration into the United States. He's tried this before and met with legal challenges. Does he have a better case here?
Well, we have to be clear what it is the president is trying to do, as based on this tweet that he sent. This is probably a continuation of the measures that have been put in place over the past few months with regard to restricting entry during this emergency period. And frankly, that is within the president's powers under the United States legal system. So during a situation like this with a health emergency, the president does have enormous authority to restrict entry into the United States. And frankly, most of these measures have already been implemented. What might be different would be if the administration is going to attempt to extend some of these measures, and they would be doing that while, on the other hand, as your previous reports were discussing, they might be opening up the economy. So on the one hand, we're saying that the situation is improving, but as far as the border is concerned, the president is still declaring that a health emergency exists and thus is going to exercise his authority to restrict entry.
Ross, you started out your answer by saying the president needs to be clear, but Trump's tweet did not make it clear which immigration programs might be affected. There are no other details on the timing or even the scope of the president's proposed executive order, as well as no official policy statement from the White House. So there's going to be some pushback from the Democrats, I would assume.
Yeah, those are all very fair points. So his tweet did not have specifics, and in the subsequent hours, the Homeland Security Department didn't issue any more elaboration, and that's why it's probably more likely that the president is referring to measures that have already been implemented as a result of the virus situation, and he's going to continue to extend the implementation of those measures. And frankly, the Democrats will complain, but the administration is going to say this is not really the same policy measures that we saw in 2017, 2018, some of which did meet with successful court challenges. And the administration is going to say that there is a legal basis to do this as a result of the health emergency. And ultimately, given that the election is upcoming, the Democrats could take this to the voters and see if they're able to make it a successful issue at the ballot box.
You touch up on an important point, the upcoming elections. All right, when you look at the numbers, immigration into the country has gone down quite a bit already. Speaker Pelosi has called this just xenophobic scapegoating. Is there perhaps an ulterior motive here? Is there perhaps a motive to distract with how the Democrats are viewing this as the president's poor handling of the pandemic, and Trump playing to his base ahead of the election?
Well, certainly the latter applies. Any steps or announcements that show the president is continuing to follow through on the promises he made 4 years ago as a candidate to restrict immigration, that obviously energizes his base. And given that this is an election season, it's perfectly understandable that President Trump would try to do that. The challenge for the Democrats, as we've been discussing, is how do they make this an issue that motivates voters to vote for their candidates, whether it's House or Senate, and ultimately their presidential candidate, likely to be Joe Biden. It's not clear that this is a motivating issue that helps the Democrats, but it is clearly a motivating issue as far as generating enthusiasm among those voters who were going to vote for President Trump anyway.
All right, some very good points there. I do appreciate your analysis. Ross Feingold, live for us from Taipei. Thank you.